Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? If you're watching this on the rewind, and we really appreciate it. It is Sunday, September 13th, and that means it's Sunday. Wait, it's football. That's right. We're back. Football is back. I am going to channel my water boy. I'm going to come out here smacking and running and kicking, tackling this whole weekend that we got going on with all the sports. But I can't do it alone. So I definitely got the crew today. So we will be talking and discussing the world of sports. But before we do, we obviously on Friday was 9/11, and obviously a big impact in our society, our world. And so what I wanted to do is just take a moment, a silence, just to, basically all the people we lost, people that were involved in that, as far as saving people, the heroes, everybody, as a world, going through that. And so let me go ahead real quick. I do have, if I can find it. So there we go. So we're going to take a moment of silence. Okay. So we have football. Obviously, football is a huge pastime. It's big sport. You got your baseball, you got your hockey, you got your basketball, but football is something that is a little bit different in how it relates to the world. Everybody. I mean, there's people that don't like football. There's people that love football. So what I wanted to kind of just break down a little bit. Obviously in this society that we're dealing with, with the COVID and everything, it has changed the world of sports. It's changed the world entirely. So we're looking to handle things in a different way. Now, we can't always be in a negative scenario. We have to create some positivity. And some of the positivity is what we remember the most, at this time of the year, which is things like football. You have the Bears, who basically are traveling less than 400 miles. And they're in a weird situation where they're on different planes, buses, the whole different scenarios. So this season's going to be many, many adjustments. But basically, in a world of negativity, we do have some positive with football. It's been a positive, and we're going to welcome it today on Sports Pop Talk. So like I said, I am your host, Eric, and we are going to tackle week one in the NFL. But I need to bring on the team. So obviously, let me go ahead and do that. But I also wanted to say hello to the chat. Hello, Papa Willie, Dana Juan. Dana, how are you? Frito, Christina, welcome, welcome. So let me go ahead and get to our crew here, because we want to sit back and watch and enjoy Sports Pop Talk. Right, Carl? All right, good. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. Let me get my guys. Mr. Tory, Unuseful Unboxing. How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Awesome. So having a good week, my friend?
Yeah. Doing
Okay.
good.
Well, we got football. We got football. Are you excited about football?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the season goes. How much of the season actually gets played, because I imagine that, there's going to be something COVID related that happens during the season, and the Eagles just scored.
Okay.
But
so they're
yeah,
off and soaring. Awesome.
yeah.
So I know Joey Reckless Pops is excited. But before we get into football, Tori, what I wanted to kind of discuss with you a little bit is we got baseball. It's right around the corner. They're dealing, obviously with playoffs. One of the things that they talked about is a bubble plan. So the baseball bubble plan needs an agreement from the union. The promise, basically, the premise when they headed into this season was to have a postseason. Uh, Generally, what they were doing is saying, look, we're going to capitalize on TV revenue and we're going to have a postseason. But if they can't finish this season, if something happens, it's going to be a disaster financially. So the NBA and the NHL have created bubbles. They've kind of led the way. So are we expecting MLB to follow?
Yeah, I think it's really the only way to ensure that this doesn't drag. I mean, I think, we've seen that you can cobble together a season, navigating, postponed games and stuff. But in the playoffs, you don't want, you can't just say, okay, we'll play the game tomorrow or we'll play the game in a week, because that's how it goes. It's like once there's an issue, it takes a week, and then. So I think the only way to do it would be a bubble. So right now there are what, going to be 16 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. So right now, your current if playoffs were to start today, Tori, you're going to have the Rays and the Yankees, the Athletics and the Indians, the White Sox and Astros, Twins and Blue Jays, Dodgers and Marlins, Braves and Giants, Cubs and Cardinals, Padres and Phillies. So you would have 16 teams,
Right.
giving an opportunity for, a couple of teams to have, what they normally wouldn't have in a regular season. But hold on to that, because I do want to bring in another one for the discussion in regards. So just 1 second, guys. And
What's going on,
And
guys?
there he is, Mr. Will Be Poppin'. How are you, bud? How's things going in Boston?
Going good. How about yourselves?
Not bad. Can't complain right now. Been busy week going back to school and everything. But when you go back to school, that usually means that we're also getting into football to begin. So I'm pretty sure you're probably excited for football. I know you did.
A little. A
Yeah, I
little.
know you did really well with the fantasy football. The first start off. Got 28 points, 28 points. So I think that'll kind of even out a little bit today, but we'll see. But before we get into football, Will, one of the things that Tori and I were talking about is, obviously MLB is, looking to earn some revenue with, the playoffs and the TV, money and stuff. So, we just kind of want to touch on it just a little bit. Do you think it is smart for them to follow suit with the NBA and the NHL and go with the bubble? Alternate, different sites that would be not obviously to the benefit of the teams that are playing.
I mean, there's no point, like this year. Like if they did it for like the playoffs, they could. But these teams play like on the Midwest to the East Coast, the West Coast to like the East Coast. So it's hard to keep them in like a bubble. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a full season, if that's what they want to start with next year, that's kind of tough to do. But I mean, at this point, like it's too late. You know, like if they were going to do it, they should have already did it. And right now, they're just gonna, they're gonna have to see what happens because I mean, in my opinion, like it's too late to try anything new since it's basically over. You know.
Well, I know they're looking for the union to vote and decide. So I don't know exactly if they're looking for something that's going to be this year or next year, but that is something that they had talked about. So seeing that the NBA do this in the NHL, the question would be is, do you think MLB should follow suit?
I think it's a little easier with basketball because one, there's not as many players.
Uh-huh.
Hockey is about this. They're in the same, like they don't have a lot of players on the team. Baseball has what, 26? Hey, Christina. They have 26, if I'm not mistaken. Plus the trainers and everything. So there's like 30 to 40 people for a baseball team. That's kind of hard to keep it in a bubble with 8 other teams. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can't do that with football. Football is 53 players, and everyone else. There's no way in hell that you're going to be able to keep football teams inside a bubble. Because they're not going to want to do it because they have families, they go home, stuff like that. Like the players are not going to want to be secluded for a week at a time or like whatever they're going to be doing,
Yeah. Well, they already experienced the Bears today. Basically, they're less than 400 miles to Detroit, and they had to be on different planes, different scenarios that popped up with the traveling. So obviously, that's something that we're going to be seeing. But just like I said, we're pretty much almost done on that baseball side of it. I just wanted to kind of get you guys' point of view. There is another gentleman who does enjoy baseball, and I'd like to just get his 2 cents in before we move on to the next sport real quick. So let me go ahead and bring this guy on. And let's see here. Pull him up. And Mr. Funkelos, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good. Welcome. So, Funkelos, we are actually just kind of touching a little bit on some of the sports before we dive into. I'm pretty sure you're excited for football, checking out your jersey. But just to touch a little bit on some of the sports that are kind of winding down. MLB is basically talking about having a bubble. They obviously want to earn their TV revenue with their playoffs. And we're just kind of looking at that. So your thoughts on MLB, the way the season, is going, how it should wind down? Should they follow suit like NBA?
Season is going great if you tell me, because I'm a Dodger fan, so it's going great.
Yeah, just wait for the playoffs. They'll blow it.
But the bubble thing, I don't know, man. Like I heard Will earlier saying, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult because there are more players, right? And I don't know if they can stay that far away from that long a time from their families, I don't know how they're going to do. You saw what happened last night with Rondo's brother, running his mouth with Westbrook, which was fun, but they just barely allowed some of their family members to be in that arena. So I don't know how baseball would do it. I don't know how it's going to work. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for LA, Lakers doing great. Dodgers doing great,
Yeah. What, well, it's that time of the year. It's like, okay, is this our season? LA is obviously, they're usually always in the thick of things, for sports. But it's once they get to the playoffs, that's the biggest thing is always been the question mark. Can the gas continue to flow through their tanks and they keep their foot on the pedal, or are they going to hit a wall? So it has to be seen. A few games left to go, a few series to go to be determined. But that's what. Let's lead into the NBA real quick. So obviously with the NBA, you have the Clippers. They're looking to close out against the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers, they won their series over Houston 4-1. Boston Celtics, they closed out their series over Toronto in Game 7. So you have you have Boston and Miami that are, so the Celtics and Heat set up. It's looking like it's going to be the Clippers and the Lakers. So you obviously would have that. So there's a potential Celtics Lakers revisitation, which was obviously popular back in the day. So do you think that would be good for this? Everything that's going on right now, is a Lakers Celtic rivalry a good thing, or would you want to see different? I know Will probably wants to see the Clippers in there, but
I actually think the Clippers are going to beat LA, in my opinion, because I think they have a really good team. I think both of the conference finals, I think both of them are going to be a very good series for both sides. But honestly, it's a toss up. You just never know. So it'd be interesting. I'm not going to watch or anything. So
okay.
But I don't watch LA sports. That's why. So I just wait for the updates from ESPN.
So you mean if it was Celtics and the Lakers, you're not going to watch the finals? You're not going to want to watch it there when they're playing?
No. I would watch it. I mean, the only basketball I've watched this season so far is I watched the last 36 seconds of the Game 7 of the Celtics. I turned it on just to see what the score was. They were up. I'm like, all right, I'll watch the last minute of the game. That's the only sports I've watched so far, minus the football. I watched part of Thursday night's game, just because I have Mahomes and the fantasy. So I watched some of that. I'm watching the Pats right now. I'm eating lunch, and then I'm going outside to do some more yard work after halftime. So I'm just curious to see how they're going to use Newton and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would watch it if the Celtics made it past Miami. I probably won't watch the the Celtics Heat round, but if they get past there, I'll watch the finals and stuff. Just because Celtics think they have a great team. I think the Celtics can pull it out because they have an amazing team.
Now, the Celtics are obviously they're excited, but they need to work a little bit more on the social distancing. I think, as you can see, that's the hard part is the contact. But let's see what happens, But let's move on to the NHL real quick. Let's wrap up what's going on here. So you have Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Right now, Dallas, they have had close games, but Dallas won Game 4 to take a 3-1 lead over Vegas. The Dallas Stars' stifling defense has pretty much kept the Golden Knights out of the net, and they are one game away from the NHL Finals. And then you also have the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders. Now, Tampa Bay is obviously a veteran team. They're leading 2-1 in the series. They had a 5-3 win on Friday night. So they get Alex Killorn back and maybe Braden Point, and so they're going to be ready to go for Game 4. But the Islanders, they're definitely going to need to start better and continue the resilience to possibly even up the series and give them some momentum going forward. So that is our NHL is winding down. It's starting to look like it's going to be Tampa Bay and Dallas, which, at the beginning of the year, I know that probably nobody would have had picked those two teams to be in the finals. But Tampa Bay, they're looking pretty strong. Veteran savvy team. So I think Lightning is going to continue to strike for them. But we'll see. Maybe the Islanders can pull it out and knock them off. But, guys, obviously it's sports weekend. And, sports. We got to have our sports. But we're talking football. So we obviously have football here. Carl, you like to watch football, right? All right. Thank you, Carl. And we also want to make sure that, we get our salute from Bub on the game. That's right, Bub. Thank you so much. So we got NFL. Now, when you look at the season and you're excited and it's here, are you feeling this way about it, Funkelos? Are you feeling this way?
Yeah, like that. You like it?
Or is it going to be a season of epic?
Well, it's the first game. It's the first game for all the teams, so everybody feels like they can win it. So we'll worry about that fail halfway through.
Well, so you obviously had a game on Thursday night that kicked off. You obviously had the Kansas City Chiefs, who are Super Bowl champions, over the Niners. They took on the Houston Texans to open things up. Now, I personally didn't get a chance to have the opportunity to watch some of the game, but Will, you said that you did see some of it. What is your insight to the first game of the year under the situation that we're in? Like, what was your take from it?
I honestly thought it was going to be a better game. I know that they scored a bunch of points and everything. I thought it was going to be better, but a lot of them look like, a lot of these players are not looking like they're ready. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have the full training camp. Like they're looking like they're in the midst of preseason still. Like the Kansas City was making simple errors. The Patriots right now are making simple errors and stuff like that. So it's just like, I think it's going to take, 2 or 3 games, for a lot of these teams to get back to where they, normally would be at the start of like this season, because, there's only so much that you can do in practice, and especially when they limit the contact and then the amount of practices. So I think it's going to take 2, 3, maybe possibly even 4 games for all these teams to get into the swing of things, But I thought Kansas City looked good. Houston looked good. Like I said, I thought they were going to do better. The offenses looked a little bit, slow at times and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see what happens. I just saw that Vegas is up. Like they just scored a touchdown, so it's nice to see LV in the box score. That's kind of cool, because I saw the stadium 2 years ago when it was being built, and I can't wait to go see a game there because it is a massive stadium. So I'm excited for football in Vegas, honestly.
Yeah, well, you look at what the Vegas Golden Knights did for that town. Obviously, it's a town that is excited for that. Is it a good move, for the Raiders? We'll have to wait and see.
I honestly thought that it was like possibly like the Chargers going there. It was either going to be the Raiders or Chargers, but instead they gave LA 2 teams once again, and give it 5, 6, 7 years, Chargers will get bumped out again. They never. It's just, I don't know why LA. No offense, Funkelos, but I don't know why LA needs multiple teams. I don't know why New York needs multiple teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no need of it, in my opinion. But there are plenty of other states that will probably that would do good with a sports team, but they they don't. So
it's called market. There's the market for it. That's why they have it.
If you're in LA, you are a LA Rams fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Who?
So
I believe most people are.
I ain't no Ram fan. I know
you're not. I know you're not. I'm just saying. But if you're in like LA, the LA market is LA Rams, not the Los Angeles, San Diego Chargers that are going to be moved back to going someplace else later. There's just no need of it. LA is just greedy. They don't need two
We're greedy.
Well, they lose teams when they're losing the Raiders. You know, they leave in they leave in LA. They got to keep finding ways to replace. But it's a market. I mean, you got New York. You got the New York Giants and New York Jets.
Yeah, and both teams suck. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, except the Giants beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, so shut up.
Oh, wait. You mean 13 years ago and 9 years ago? Is that what you're saying? Because that's the only ammo that you guys have is from like a decade ago? Nothing recent. Nothing recent. When was the last time you Okay, yeah, exactly. New York sucks. LA sucks. Come back to me when it's somewhat relevant.
Okay.
Boston sucks.
Yeah,
I don't
Mr. riding on his high horse. And New England's going to be irrelevant for many, many years.
Okay. We'll see.
I think Torrey, the Jets are looking to recruit though this year. So they may have some good chances, especially with this guy.
Yeah, the Jets have issues.
You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of teams this year that, with not being able to do what they do in August and get ready for the season, they're obviously going to need a little bit of luck on their side to get going and hope that everything stays, safe and everything. But when you look at these teams and you look at it, like you go from last year, I mean, we got some rookies coming in, like Joe Burrow is looking to start the Cincinnati era. You had the running back for Kansas City, right? Edwards-Helaire. He had 138 yards, 25 rushes for his NFL debut. And then, wait, we got Mr. Matthew. Hold on a second here, Matthew. Let me go ahead and bring him on.
Oh, you kicked him out.
Yeah. Well, gotta give him his due here. Let's see. I think it's this one here. Let me double check. No, I don't. That's not that one. Where is yours, Matthew? Did we make it? Oh, there it is. And so what we have for you, Matthew, before I bring you on, I wanted to give this to you real quick.
There it is.
So there you go, Matthew.
Papa Willie on that.
So Matthew, welcome. Always glad to have you here, bud. Obviously a football fan as well. And so definitely football is upon us. So like I said, get excited. We're here to just kind of break things down a little bit. This is our show. We're not going to be on very long today, guys. It's obviously some of us have some things. We want to watch the games. We want to be able to enjoy, the Sunday. But we wanted to get on here and just kind of not have the opportunity of not being able to talk was something we couldn't do, right? I mean, it's football. So, what does football mean to you guys? I mean, Torrey, I know you're a baseball guy, but do you gravitate towards football when the season starts? I mean, you have cards that you normally do. I mean, do you really enjoy football as much as baseball, or what's your outtake on football?
No, I mean, I enjoy football, just because it's like in football, it's a sport where every game counts because there are so few of them in the season. So it's sort of, when it's football season, everything counts. Whereas, basketball and hockey are also overlap with football, but the seasons don't really count in basketball or hockey. So it's sort of all football. And, I think football needs to do a better job of, some of the issues in football, like concussions and that stuff. Taking better care of players. But
yeah, because they get hit hard. They definitely get hit hard.
yeah, and I just feel like, I don't know. There's issues in football that I think they could address better. But, it's definitely an event. The fact that all the games are on one day pretty much, with the exception of Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, everything's on Sunday. So it's become, like that's the day, everything stops on Sunday pretty much.
Yeah. So let's real quick, I'm just going to go over some of the games, what's going on, and feel free, you guys can touch on any games you feel that's important that you want to watch, that you kind of put your sense in. But I'm just going to kind of give a little synopsis of some of the games. So like you have the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to fly to battle the Falcons as both teams looking to take off and keep soaring. Matt Ryan is 5-2 against Seattle in his career. The Browns. Now, the Browns don't know the number one very well, as they are looking for their first week one win since 2004. They take on the Ravens today. Sam Arnold and Josh Allen, they're in season number 3, but only one franchise seems to be going forward here. So no sounds of jets flying anywhere is what the forecast for this season. And then you got Charlotte. Teddy, troubled over Bridgewater, leads the Panthers against the Raiders. The silver and black Vegas attack. So I think that's a good one for you. The silver and black Vegas attack. One team is going to be, standing up. Another one's going to be lying flat on their back. And as Will said, that looks like Vegas is basically getting off to a good start. And then you got the Bears. We all know the Bears in the real world, they hibernate at home. But in the NFL, Bears hibernate on the road, as they are abysmal 3-14 in week one road games in the Super Bowl era. It's just the facts, Matthew. Just the facts. So what will the Bears do today against the Lions? What do you got there, Punklos? Ditka. Ditka. Phillip Rivers makes his debut today against the Jags. He spent 228 games with the Chargers. So basically, he may need everything he's got for the season, or he may need a little bit of luck on his side. You never know. But that's something we got to wait and see what happens with Phillip Rivers. And then you got Lambeau Field, the Packers. The Packers, they're going to play their first ever week one game in Minnesota in team history. Will the Vikings defense stifle, or will they hate their neighbor, Mr. Rogers? Who knows? And then, of course, you have, webcams. They're not always sturdy and reliable. They leave you in the dark. But will this cam be any different in New England, as King Bill has a new head guard on the Royal Patriot Palace? And will this marriage be ceremonial and bliss, or will the Newton crumble, leaving the Patriots with a mess? They are.
Well, Newton already rushed for a touchdown.
Yeah. He did. Well, they're 33-7 at home since 2015. So does that continue with the Patriots today? The Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to take their 6 consecutive wins against the Redskins, but they play a different football team today. So will the Eagles soar, or will Washington make a name for itself? Joe Burrow, welcome to the NFL, where the men hit harder than college. So how will the rookie fare today? Hopefully he doesn't get them in the hole that they can't burrow themselves out of. We shall see. And the 49ers, they got the number one pass defense. and they play the Cardinals today. But the Cardinals offense can spread it out with 4 wideouts. Christian Kirk and DeAndre Hopkins allows Arizona to be that thorn in the Niners' side. So that is actually going to be my upset for the day. I think the Cardinals do beat the Niners. And then you have Dallas in the Rams. The Cowboys and Rams are going to play their first ever game in Southern California at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. So it should be a back and forth score fest. So what do you guys think? You have a lot of plethora, and of course, you obviously have Tampa Bay and the Saints. You have 2 guys, Brady and Breeze, 2 40-plus guys that are playing for the first time in a game. They're making their debuts today. Some of the Tampa Bay guys and stuff. So what games do you think out there that you really, really enjoy? Now, obviously, you're a Boston, you're a New England fan, and you like that. But aside from those, is there a certain game out there that you're kind of really interested to see how it unfolds? Funkalos?
Yeah. I mean, other than the Cardinals against the 49ers, because you got to understand, all my family is pretty much Niner fans down here. So, it's going to be fun to be the only one in the house talking shit. So, and of course, my kids, they got no other option. They have to cheer for my team, and that's that. But you know what? The one game I do want to watch is definitely that Buccaneers Saints. I definitely want to watch that Buccaneers Saints game. That's one of the games I'm really interested. I mean, I want to see what Tom Brady does out there. But it's the Saints, man, and I always say the Saints go marching in, man, and I think the Saints are just gonna tear them apart.
Well, the thing is, it is Brady. He does have weapons with Tampa Bay more than I think offensively than he did with New England in the last year or so. So it's going to be interesting to see their camaraderie, how he works with his offense. Rob Gronkowski, he basically feels like he's in touch with his body now. The last couple of years, he's been out of sync. He feels like he's kind of dialed it in. That's obviously a go-to for him.
That's because he's been dancing a lot more.
So, I mean,
Gilmore just intercepted the ball.
Gilmore?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that Tampa Bay game?
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good one. I think both of the offenses are really – both of those offenses are going to score a lot of points. The defense isn't going to really – I don't think the defense is as good. So this game is probably going to be 38-31 or 42-35, something like. It's going to be a pretty high-scoring game, in my opinion. You have a bunch of elite wide receivers, really, really good running backs, and you can't never count out, Drew Brees and Tom Brady because they're going to do what they always do. But I think it's probably going to be the best game of the week 1, in my opinion, more than likely. That's probably what it's set. I would rather have seen this towards the end or in the middle. I know they get to play each other one more time, but it is kind of cool that they play each other week 1. So,
well, I mean, you have that division, with the teams that are in there, it's going to be competitive, and so you're adding Brady to the mix. So it'll be interesting because Tampa Bay seemed to be in some of their games last year quite a bit, and they were missing, that little bit of spark from their quarterback, obviously throwing the interceptions.
They were missing a quarterback. If they had a decent quarterback that didn't throw 40 interceptions a season, they would have – they have a team that could beat anyone, in my opinion. That's the only thing that they were missing. If they just had a quarterback that managed the game – stop throwing the careless interceptions. I mean, I think he had, 3 games that had 4 interceptions last year or something like that. And then I think 1 5 interception. But he had a bunch of 2, 3, 4 interception games. And like I said, I mean, the defense that they have isn't bad. I wouldn't say that it's the best defense, but they have a nice young core, good defense. But the offense, I think, is going to carry them the whole season. And now Brady in the first time has elite wide receivers to throw to instead of just a mixed match worth of receivers. So I think they're going to score a lot of points this season. So
So do you think, Matthew, I mean, obviously with the Bears, do you have a lot of hopes for the season this year? Like, I mean, we have a bet, you and I have a bet for the Detroit game. But do you see the Bears relying more on their defense this year? The quarterback carousel that they got going on? How do you like the Bears for this season? And then, so, not with Mitchell, huh? You don't like well, he might not be in there very long. And then of course the other guy. I mean, the Bears, obviously do rely a lot on their defense to keep them in the games, but we shall see how that takes place. And then so the other thing is Torrey, when you look at some of these games that are out there, the competitiveness of the season to start with game one. It's so important because we don't know how the season is going to unfold. Would you say that the defenses are going to be in a better situation or the offenses? Some of the things that you're seeing now, would you say that, like, if you were from a betting standpoint, are you going to take the overs? Or are you going to take the offensive side of things?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think offenses are.
Who was that, Calvin?
No, it's actually Barry Sanders.
Oh, okay.
I just
I didn't see the name on it. I wasn't sure.
I think you have to be a very elite defense to stop, a lot of teams today. Because there are a lot of very versatile teams that can run the ball and pass the ball. So, I think the offense probably has an upper hand just in general.
But would you say that football is a rhythm game, though, too, right? You got to be in rhythm. The quarterback's got to be in rhythm with his wide receivers, running their routes. So does the offense kind of struggle not having some of that August games and just only doing it in basically in team type practice? One of the things that you saw from Thursday night, Will, did you see? You said there's a little bit of sloppiness, a little bit of rust. Is that something where maybe after the first week we get back into a regular type of normal NFL, or do you think it's going to take a little bit longer than normal?
Probably. I mean, for some, for some teams, it might not bother them like at all. But I mean, I probably the majority of the teams, it's going to be, probably 2 full weeks of games, possibly like even 3 of them, to really get back into like the swing of things, And like some teams it might take longer, and then some teams they might just click, in like week 1. So it just depends on how long the teams have been playing together and new personnel and new coaches and all that type of stuff. But it just depends on how they took care of themselves in the off season and in preseason. So I think it's just going to vary from team to team.
Yeah. So what would you say, Funklos, how important it is to then obviously getting out of the gate in this type of season? Obviously the schedule that you have and the teams that are in the divisions, obviously you don't want to fall behind, early, but there are some competitive games right off the bat, obviously like with Tampa Bay and New Orleans, and the Cardinals and the Niners. So for the Cardinals, a team that has, last year they didn't have a lot of weapons on the wide receivers, the wideouts. This year they have that where they can obviously go 4 wide receivers. So how do you think that is that something that's going to be a thorn in the side of the Niners for the defense? How do you see that Arizona team playing out this year?
We're in a division which is, I think, one of the hardest one, because you got Seattle, you got the Niners. Who knows what's going to happen to the Rams. The Rams can either eat it or not. I don't know what's going to happen on there. And then you got the Cardinals. But it's very important to get off the gate quick. I mean, this is the time. I think the first 3 weeks you have to get off the gate quick because people don't have any footage on you yet. They don't know what you're capable of. After that, I think the fourth week, man, you start seeing the teams that are gonna suck, and you see the teams that are gonna do good just start making that leap to or being just better. That's simple as that. Football. That's why in gambling, I think the first 3 weeks is where you can make your money, man. Picking those up.
So you're saying take the overs or the unders?
You know what, man? I'm with the Will. I mean, Will said it. I think there's gonna be a lot of offense going on. You know, especially in that Tampa Bay game. I haven't looked, to be honest, what the over and under is on that game, but I'm assuming it's got to be over. I mean, if it's 40 some, it's got to be over.
I was gonna say, like, they're gonna be like the combined score. I honestly think it's gonna be almost 70 points.
Yeah,
like, I mean, both teams are gonna score at least 30. I mean, like, you're not gonna be able to have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, OJ Mayo, Gronk. If you have all four of those guys on the field at the same time, that is ridiculous. And then you, on top of that, you throw in, Jones. You throw in Fournette once he gets like used to like the plays. That offense is dangerous. And then like the Saints side, Michael Thomas, Kamara. What's the other running back? I'm blanking on his name right now for some reason. I don't know, but like both teams, like they average 30 plus points a game, and
they
it's going.
I was just going to say they just signed Kamara. Just signed a contract, an extension, 5 years.
That's funny too, because they were talking about trading him to certain teams and all that type of stuff, and then he signs a deal. But I mean, that someone must have talked to him in like the organization, because he probably feels like he's been underused, because Murray, that's the other one. He's getting a lot of carries within the 20 yards and stuff like that, and taking away touches from Kamara. So I mean, it's nice to have a good backup running back too, just in case anything happens. But he probably felt like he had some, carries and plays taken away from him because of that. So they might have told him, say, no, you're our guy, and so he probably committed to like the team. Because I believe for the past year or two, he kind of wanted to possibly explore trade options if he wasn't going to be getting a better deal,
Absolutely, and so we're going to see how that equates on the field. Obviously he's happy with the contract. So let's the Saints, they're always in it. Right now, especially with Breeze back there. But when he was out, they still seemed to do really well. They didn't miss a beat last year.
No, I think Teddy Bridgewater just filled in amazing for them, and earned him the starting quarterback in Carolina. So good for him. I liked him when he was with Minnesota. I've always thought that he was a good quarterback.
He was. I always thought so too. So hopefully he'll make most of his start. But I mean, are you going to see some of this in New England? Are we going to get some of this?
I hope not. I don't really want the aerobatic side, but he honestly, he's probably had 5 or 6 design runs, and then he's had the probably 4 or 5 of the options where he either let the running back take it or he ran it. I mean, he ran it in for like the touchdown already, and it was basically a straight take it and rush to like the side. So they are actually using him as a running quarterback, and they have a lot of design plays for him. So it's definitely a different Patriots offense like this year. Like I said, I mean, Belichick is a smart coach. He's going to use Cam the best way possible. Probably even use him better than they did in Carolina. Because a good head coach can, really knows how to use his players. So.
What now, Matthew? One of the things that you look at in your division, you have Minnesota and Green Bay and Detroit. Do the Bears, are they going to take a step back this year? Are they really putting a lot of stock in Trubisky? And, is he somebody obviously seen from today, is he going to last at that quarterback role? I mean, or is he going to basically be like, okay, you know what, we're going to move on to the next guy, Nick Foles, he's coming in. Or having the fact that Foles is on the bench, is that going to allow Trubisky to kind of perform? That's kind of what we're looking for. Now, Ron Rivera, he is a great coach. He's proven, that he's done some extremely solid things in the NFL during his coaching time. But the thing is with the Bears, that's an organization that has had some trouble, filling the leadership role in the quarterback situation. And they still keep relying on Trubisky, hoping that he's going to catch lightning in a bottle. And it doesn't really seem like that's going to happen. So let's jump over real quick. Now, Tori, now you're a Giants fan, right? You're a New York Giants fan, being from New York, I believe. Okay. So obviously this is an era. There's a lot of high hope for the quarterback. This year, he showed a little bit of promise. They go into Monday night with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers pretty much have had 9 consecutive wins on Monday night. I kind of feel like it's going to be, their 10th one. I think they're going to be able to do that. But what's your thoughts on the Giants this year? Are they going to be in a rebuilding mode? You think they're going to be able to compete? Obviously, they have the running back. Do you think the pieces are in place in that division for them to hang in there?
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked them to have been able to get like a Chase Young in the draft, but they definitely needed some help on the offensive line. So picking up Thomas was a good move. But I do like, I like Daniel Jones, and I like, Saquon's amazing. So, I think they could be building something, and we'll see.
Okay. So, Papa Willie says the only way we get anywhere is if Foles takes over and their defense. So we'll see. We'll see how Chicago, takes their season, because that's what NFL is right now. You got week 1. There's a lot of teams. Obviously Kansas City is the defending champs. They took care of business on Thursday night. You have a lot of teams that are looking to go in a positive direction. Will, do you see a team out there that is possible geared to make some noise, that might be kind of fall under the radar, like a little sleeper team? Or would you say like maybe the Chargers or the Bengals? Are the Bengals having their new quarterback?
Well, I'm gonna not say the Cincinnati because, no, Cleveland. They should be playing against college teams because that's the only thing that they are good at. The Chargers. I don't even know who their quarterback is. Honestly, I don't even know who the quarterback is of the Chargers this year.
I want to. Yeah.
I will say that I think Rivers going to the Colts. I think that team might surprise some people. I don't think they're going to win the division or anything, but I think that team might surprise some people. You put Rivers with another elite wide receiver in Hilton and the other, weapons that they have. I think that team might do good.
Tyrod Taylor is a quarterback for the Chargers.
And he played for the Bills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Chargers ain't doing shit. But I would say the Colts. I think the Falcons are eventually gonna bounce back. They always play good, but they give up a lot of points. But I think,
how do you feel about Gurley?
Well, he scored early. I picked him up for my team, so I'm happy to have him. But I think him going there, getting a fresh start, might do him some good, possibly. there's a lot of teams that have been good and then they fall off for a season or two and then they start to play well. Like Philly is looking good. But they're just playing a football team. So I'm not really sure. The Washington No-Namers. That's what they should be called because they don't even have a team name. Because every team is a football team, but yet they're named the Redskins football team.
They're not even. So they should have. They could have gone with the Senators. Picked up the old baseball team name.
Well, they obviously had some time to put some thought into it and get it going, but
Tory, man, they could have called themselves the Washington Potato Skins, and it would have been a lot better than the Washington football team.
Well,
they could have called themselves mozzarella sticks or like Dippin' Dots, and that would have been cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there were tons of options that would have been better than this. But I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, so let me ask you, Funkelos, when you look at teams that are looking to, when you look at someone like Todd Gurley, obviously playing through a season, you don't want to you come off of injuries, and you come on to new teams, there's new changes. Do you feel like that's something that's going to really help some of these franchises, or are they just masking the holes, trying to basically fix bullet holes with band-aids? Like the Atlanta Falcons, they started out really abysmal. They picked it up the last 5-6 games of the year to try to save their coach, and then they go and get somebody like Todd Gurley. Does that help a team with their confidence going forward, or do you see it as like it's by mid-season it's just going to unravel?
It's one of the things, a lot of teams do put band-aids, just bring a name just so that they can sell tickets. But this season, obviously, that doesn't make any difference. But, a lot of times you'll see a lot of players like I do have a question for Will, but I will answer your question in regards to, other teams masking or banding, just for now. Yeah, there's a lot of teams doing that. Just bringing players for the name, and at the end of the day, it won't solve anything. They'll still have the same issues. So is Gurley going to make a difference? I'm sure he's going to get his touches. That's what he needs. But now you're going to find out if that O-line, the front line, offensive line, can help them create those holes. It's just going to come down to that. But, Will, I do have a question, because do you think that the diva of your quarterback that's over there right now, do you think he's going to go back into that diva mode, or do you think that the coach is going to be able to control him? Because I know they say that he's very strict and la, but is that diva going to act out?
You saw a couple plays when he rushed for a first down, or he had his little Newton moments. Ian, like when he scored like the touchdown, he kind of just touched the ground, stood up, Gronk spiked it, and then hugged his teammates, got off the field. And I think he knew prior to coming here, with Belichick's history and how he is, where he's a no-nonsense guy. I honestly feel like Belichick has he'd probably cut him if he got out of line, if he got too crazy. I don't think he'd drop him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he would. Like, I just don't feel like Newton is going to go back to his old diva ways, because he knows the culture here. He knows how Belichick is. I just can't see Newton, going down like that road of him being his normal self. I think you're going to probably see little sparks at time, but he's gonna like remind himself, New England Patriots way, and then he'll rein himself in a little bit, But I honestly think you are going to see little, examples of Cam, like him letting himself out. because you do have to let him be him. You can't just not let him be who like he is. So I mean, I think he is. Like I don't want to see those types of plays. No,
But that is who he is.
I know. Well, yeah, but I mean, I know
But
you
that,
guys
but that,
aren't like watching it, but if you watched them earlier on like those design runs that he had, he slid or dove a little earlier than he had to. So
so they're gonna play it safe. Right?
yeah, like I think he knows where like okay, he's gonna avoid the hits. He's going to. I mean, I think he would dive and stuff like that if he needed to. But I think he's at the point where he knows he can't get hurt because he's ultimately playing for a 4 or 5 year deal. Not in like New England. I don't think he would resign here for 4 or 5 years. But I think he's auditioning to be, you know, the starting quarterback for another team next year. So
Maybe
he's
go to
looking for
Chicago.
that. You never know. He could go there. Maybe even the I wouldn't say the Jets or Giants because they have like the young quarterbacks. But I mean, if Cleveland wanted to move on from Baker, maybe he could go there. I don't know if he would want to play for Cleveland, but they do have weapons and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't think he would be in New England after the season. But you never know. He could sign a 2 year deal here after the season to play here for a little bit longer. That's the thing about football. You just never know. Like if we're gonna want to keep him or another team is gonna want to pursue him. But I think he's gonna do good because Belichick is gonna use him in the best possible way that he can. So it'll be
Right. What about
interesting.
Minnesota? Minnesota might be a place where weapons and stuff that he might be able to do well. It
Yeah,
depends.
but isn't Cousins under contract for another 2 or 3 years? And he just signed like a 5 or 6 year deal 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't know.
I'm almost positive like he signed a 5 or
Yeah.
6 year deal a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, he did, but I mean, at the same time, they can eat it, they can cut it. There's a lot of things that can go in different directions, but
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I know that they could trade him and just eat some of it the money.
so what do you feel? What do you feel about the guys that are coming back from their injury? You also have the Washington quarterback Alex Smith. Had a horrific injury.
But he's not playing though, right?
No, but he's still working on coming back, though, right? I mean, still.
I'm sure he wants to play, considering that he was told that he probably should like retire, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, like he got it was a gruesome injury that he had, but
Yeah.
I think him being there and helping out, what's his name? Is it Haskins?
Haskins, yeah.
So like I think him being on like the sidelines and in practices, I think that'll help Haskins, in his development. And if anything, if he is able to play, if Haskins doesn't do good, then Smith would come in. But I think that's going to benefit Haskins being him being there. But I mean, you have a lot of guys that got injured last year. That I mean, like we were talking about earlier, he had that whole knee thing last year, so he's looking to bounce back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You have AJ Green coming back, who missed basically the whole entire season last year. He's coming back, so you don't know if having him and Boyd, that's gonna benefit Burrows drastically if you have both of them out there. And all these guys that have been injured, they are really trying to come back to show that one, they can still play, and two, that there's still football life in them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you also let's you touch on so Monday night is going to have two games. So you obviously got the Steelers and the Giants. Like I said, the Steelers 9 consecutive wins on Monday night, but you also have Denver and Tennessee. So Denver and Tennessee will lock up on Monday as Drew Lock is 4-1 as a starter. Both teams have aspirations going for this season of pretty high. But will the Broncos have the ability to last the season and how will we remember the Titans this year? What do you guys think about those two teams? Are they in the mix? Are they falling backwards? Does the Titans get the same kind of juice they got last year
No,
from Tannehill?
no.
Is
No.
Petey
I don't
gonna
think they're gonna do as good as I don't think they're gonna do as good as they did last year. I think Henry is gonna play well, but I don't think they're gonna have like the same magic. And Denver, I think they got they added like Melvin Gordon, so having him and Lindsey, I think that's gonna help them out a little bit. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think
Well,
both teams are gonna do what they
They
did last year.
also have Jerry Judy now.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
that'll be interesting to see Locke and Judy, see what
Yeah.
they can do.
another interception.
Eric?
Now, Funkelos, you have a lot of young quarterbacks. You obviously have a generation that is starting. You've seen some success with Buffalo. You see now Burrow having the success at LSU coming in. There's a lot of franchises that are going young. So what does this mean for the NFL? Do you like a lot of the quarterbacks that you're seeing right now? Do you think there's a lot of promise? Are we going to get your Montana type quarterbacks, your Brady's? Are you going to get your younger generation to resemble some of the older generation, or do you think it's going to be a lot of rotation year in, year out?
A lot of young quarterbacks. No, I think we have a lot of great young quarterbacks coming in. Are we gonna see, somebody that looks or acts or throws or plays like Joe? I have no idea. But man, there's a lot of young talent out there, and I like seeing these young quarterbacks come up.
It's too early. It's too early to really say who's going to be the next big guy.
But it's good to have a lot of young talent out there. My biggest worry is this all the time, and I said it in Arizona when we had Rosen. If you don't have a front line to take care of these kids and they get nailed, it's over. Or they're running and they don't know how to slide, or they don't know, we're about 2 yards, I better just get out of bounds, and they take that hit. That's always been my biggest worry with these young quarterbacks that come into the league. It's not them, it's that front line, that team they're surrounded by. Because last year, Murray took some hits too, man, and, Cam took a lot of hits too early in his career. So, it just worries me. Not everybody is smart, and I always say this about Brady. He knew when it was time to get the heck out and not take a hit. And I think that's what kept him so long and so young, for so long. But I wanted to ask you something, Eric, and I'm going to go around quick and just ask everybody because I'm going to keep track or try to keep track. Steelers-Giants, who wins, Eric?
Steelers. I think they win big at 34-17.
All right. Mr. Torrey, well, who do you think? Steelers-Giants?
I gotta go with my Giants.
Your guys, the Giants?
Yeah.
That's my boy. Stick with your team. Mr. Will, I know it's not your team, but who would you pick, Steelers or Giants?
I'd probably go Steelers, but I don't think it's going to be a big blowout or anything. It's probably going to be within, 7, 10, maybe possibly 14 points, but it's probably going to be a touchdown or like 10 points difference. Okay. Probably. I don't think it's going to be a big blowout or nothing like that because the Giants do have a nice young football team. Yeah. Like Ingram, great. Running like receiver. It's Saquon and Daniel Jones. If they can protect him, I think that offense has a good chance of putting up some points if they can protect them. But like.
Papa Willie says Steelers. All right. Okay, I'm gonna be keeping track, guys. When you guys come on, I'm gonna be coming on pretty much every Sunday now. I finished the house thing. My new work is all lined up. I can kind of get around here, get to the 10 o'clock schedule, whatever you guys decide now.
Well, that's what I wanted. Real quick, while you did mention that, just kind of, would you guys be okay with starting an hour early? Like, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
hell okay. Yeah, we can actually pick a couple of games, and we can all pick 3 games or something like that, or you pick 3 games, random games, and then we all just go ahead and pick and see who's going to win, and we keep tracks of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the winner gets Papa Willie.
So we're
I'm
gonna,
out. I'm out. I don't want to win.
we're gonna pick the Steelers and Giants, and then let's touch also on Tampa Bay and the Saints.
Okay, let's do it. Well, I'm actually gonna pull for an upset because I can't stand the Steelers because they beat us in the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go with the Giants with an upset on Monday night. I think that young team is gonna have some new energy out there, and let's see what they do, man. So I'm gonna go with the Giants with Tori on this one.
All right.
I don't know if that would be an upset though, because I don't think like the spread is that big of a difference. I'm not sure, but like, I mean,
is actually 5.5.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, if the Giants did win, I don't think that would be like oh wow, like the Giants beat the Steelers.
I'm taking the points.
Yeah.
So
I'm changing. Okay, I'm going 27-17. Okay, I'm changing 27-17. Okay, I thought maybe 34 might be a little bit too much for the Steelers, but 27-17. So Matthew, what do you think? Like, who are you going for? Are you going for the Steelers or are you going for the Giants?
Oh, Matthew says Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we got three then.
Will and Mr. Papa Willie with the Steelers, Tori and myself going with the Giants.
So let's move over real quick, guys, to Tampa Bay and New Orleans. What's your guys' thoughts, Will?
Can I go last?
Yeah, you can. Tori.
So Mike Evans is questionable.
Yeah, he's game time decision if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Saints just because I think it's gonna take maybe a week or two for the Bucks to get in sync. With not having a full preseason and sort of a new dynamic.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man, but you have to consider though that Brady did practice a few times with a couple of the running backs. He did go with Gronk. He did go with Mayo. He did practice with Evans and Godwin when he first signed there, and there is chemistry with them. I mean, it would probably take a game or two for them to really get in sync. Just as like you said, but Godwin is a number one receiver. He led the league, and with Evans out, because Evans was out a few times last year, and Godwin still did what he did.
All right.
So I honestly think I think Tampa's going to win this game. So you can put me down for that. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I just think the Saints are no joke. So it's not like it's not like the Bucks are playing the Browns where. Really
but that defense though. But like the Saints defense, I mean, the offense has to score because the defense still gives up 24, 28 points a game. You know what I'm saying? Like that defense isn't a shutdown defense. So that's why if that offense doesn't score you at least 28 points a game, they're gonna lose. That's why they are so high flying offense, because they have to score because they know the defense is not gonna shut it down.
Yeah, I just think with Thomas and Kamara that
That's him. Eric, what do you got, Eric?
Okay, so one of the things is now Tom Brady, it's not his first rodeo. So I mean, he's been through this. Like he'll find ways to get the ball to receivers. He'll find ways to get in sync. I don't think, they don't play as much anyways in preseason, except for maybe the last, game or so. So I don't think it's going to affect Tampa Bay as much. I think there's a lot of excitement for that team. There are a lot of weapons in place. Sure, they need to learn how to play together, definitely. Because they're playing at home in New Orleans, and because it is Drew Brees, it's not like he's going up against a rookie-type quarterback. Breeze does have weapons as well. And I think in a high-scoring type game, New Orleans does get the last, the ball. They get an opportunity to just kick a field goal or be able to go in and win it. So I definitely like New Orleans at home. I think Tampa Bay, though, shows the promise of their season, with Brady behind the quarterback situation.
All right. Papa Willie, who you got? Let's see.
So he's going with he
Brady.
said he's going with Brady. He's going with the
Papa Willie. I'm gonna stick with the Saints because the Saints go marching in, and there it is. Let's go Saints.
All right. So obviously those are the big, the Tampa Bay and New Orleans is probably the highlight of the week, just to see because of everything that's surrounded the preseason. And then obviously, seeing what Cam Newton does with New England. So that'll be interesting. And we'll definitely obviously go and recap that. So gentlemen, we're going to start an hour early as like a regular NFL type pregame show. We'll dissect maybe 2 or 3 games, give our thoughts and opinion, recap some of the stuff that's going on from Thursday, just kind of lead into it a little bit. That's going to be the premise, you guys, as far as the chat goes. And we will wrap up as far as it'll probably be the NBA playoffs. We'll be in the finals and then NHL as well. And we'll touch a little bit on that. But, moving forward, we do have NFL. So let's see how the season shakes out. Hopefully, we do get a full season. We do get the Super Bowl. And, we'll see which teams are able to take advantage of that. So I appreciate you, gentlemen, for taking your time and being here.
Oh, yeah. A Super Bowl with no fans inside the crowd. That should be fun.
Well, that's something I definitely would like to talk about next week, because we get into a new Super Bowl comes in February. If we get a, so-called at the end of the year, a vaccine, does that change things? That's something, we can obviously discuss a little bit. But definitely, like I said, guys, great show. Appreciate you guys being here and taking the time. Giving your insight is always important. Papa Willie, thank you for popping on. And Tori, like I said, obviously being here, guys, definitely appreciate it. So just to close everybody out, let's go through our little brand here real quick. So once again, what do we say here, Bill? That's right. Get out of here. Lead the way. So Bill's leading.
He says
the exit's that way.
And but once again, like I said, we are excited because it is football, and so definitely you like that. That's right, we do. So this is going to be Sports Pop Talk. Enjoy your guys' afternoon. Spend it with some loved ones. Put a smile on your face. Put a smile on theirs. And just remember, if you do have injuries, take care of them, because they let's go ahead and end this down. So we have joining us today, Mr. Funkelos. So do you have anything going on? Anything planned? Anything you want to close out with, Funkelos?
Me, just follow me on Instagram. I'm always running wild on Instagram. I actually started just doing some waffles, and I just get on just for the BS and the entertainment of it. I have a blast with a bunch of people. But just check me out on Instagram. And, thank you for coming out here and supporting us. I know it's football. I know it's opening weekend. Thank you for coming out. Will, guys, it's always a pleasure being around you. Papa Willie, the finger goes to you. But, that pretty much me. You always follow me on. You can find me on Instagram, and I am who I am. I run my mouth because that's what I do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
Papa Willie has something to say too.
Yep, it's East LA. That's right. East LA, the Sirens, homeboy. I got to get back in before my parole officer finds out that I'm 10 feet away from the house.
All right, so let's go ahead real quick with All right, Matthew. So definitely we appreciate you being here. Let's go ahead and so obviously, go Bears, go Lions. Football season is here, Matthew. So get excited. You excited for football? So, and we got Yo Jay's 1K celebration later on today. So, what do you got to say to everybody?
Fuck you.
All right. And then let's shoot over here to pull this down. All right, you're up, Will. So, Will, you got anything going on in the works? I know you've been putting some videos out. What's going on with you, my man?
Yeah, I got my regular Tuesday, Thursday, videos that I'll be dropping. I'm trying to keep it every Tuesday and Thursday. I've gone away from my Saturday sports upload because with work and all, it's kind of tough to to keep doing all of the videos as many as like I want to do. But I was actually thinking I might go live one night this week or the next week. I got about almost 20 of the zombie minis, so I was thinking about going live one night and just opening up some, hanging out for an hour with some people. But other than that, I'm actually excited for football to start back up. So that's about it. Just make sure everyone that's inside the chat, just make sure everyone is following everyone here on YouTube and Instagram because everyone that's on like the panel and inside the chat are some great people. So make sure everybody shows love to everybody. So
yeah, and great videos. Well, I've been actually I don't know what happened, but I think I accidentally clicked onto your subscribe button, and but good stuff, man. I like your videos, man. Keep it up, brother.
Well,
thank you, man.
Here's the other thing. YouTube's been really funky, so make sure you hit the notification bells so you get the updates when they do go live, so you don't miss anything. So, like Will said, he goes live, or our Sports Pop Talk. Papa Willie likes to randomly go live.
Midnight. Papa Willie does midnight. Papa Willie does midnight. Shit, man.
And so you want to hit the notification bell. It's really important. So let me go ahead.
You got to make sure that you select all and stuff because if you do personalize, it doesn't always. Because I've got notifications legit like the next day.
Yeah.
When someone went live like the night before, and I'm like, oh great, they went live. Wait a second, it's just a replay from last night. So like if you want to make sure, if you want to be there when people actually upload a video or they do go live, hit that all button because then you will be getting notified every single time, no matter what it is. So
yeah. All right, now we got Tori. All right, and so Tori, you have, I know you do some sports cards and stuff like that, and you got a lot that normally goes on through the week. So what does your week ahead look like?
So I am changing up the videos a little. I am going to be doing, I think probably one or two Funko mystery boxes. I'm going to be doing a review, like a sports card review, and also compare of the same product, but like fat packs versus blasters, that kind of thing. And I'm also going to be doing, in addition to the comic book mystery boxes, I'm also going to be doing a 50-cent bin haul, like just to show what you can get out of a 50-cent bin or a dollar bin. And in addition to the comic book show that I do on Saturdays, I've also been going live later on Saturdays and just opening up cards and talking with the chat and, maybe eventually doing some breaks where to give people an opportunity to get in on some cool product that's hard to get and expensive. So, allow people to get in at a cheaper price.
Okay. Well, that definitely a lot going on with that. That's awesome. For ourselves, for me, Monday to kick off the week, I'm going to be on. So I'm going to be on Homespun Geek, his happy hour with McDorks on Monday.
cool.
So yeah, that's first time on his show, so I'm looking forward to that. And so that'll be kicking off the week. And then obviously Tuesday is Mama J's 1K. Yesterday was Poppin' Sons 1K celebration. You got Yo J Collects tonight. So obviously you got the luau. So there's a lot always going on. And so that's a great thing with a family. Just check everybody out, support. You also have Christina Payne, who is real close to her 1K. So if you guys have not subscribed to her, she recently put out a video, so make sure you get over to her channel and give her some love with some subscribes. And then that's about it. So, definitely appreciate you guys being here today. If you're watching on the rewind, definitely appreciate the love and support. Each week is football. We're going to be diving into it with the crew that we have. We were missing Mr. TechBot today. He's got some things to work on and homework. So hopefully he's able to study with the TV on. But other than that, gentlemen, appreciate it. Chat, have a great day. We'll see you around in the streams. Everybody take care. It's always a good one, but you got to keep looking for a better one. So have a good day, everybody. Say goodbye. Adios.